What's the deal? It's Mr. Fresh to Death, Pretty Boy Smooth, and you are now listening to Wrestling Cheers.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
And welcome back to Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, especially when you are fresh to death. This is Wrestling Cheers, where we like to talk about things in the Northeast Ohio independent wrestling scene. We preview shows, we review shows, and sometimes we even have interviews along the way. This is an interview episode with none other than AIW wrestler and former AIW Tag Team Champion, PB Smooth. I am your host. I am heavy set. And before we get into the interview, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. And of course, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening to this fine podcast. Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Podbean. WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. If you want to find us on social media, we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. And we got a merch store over at WhataManeuver.net. Now, this is, like I said, the interview episode. I got to sit down with PB Smooth. As of this recording, it will be, or this when it airs, this will be roughly a week, almost a week since I actually sat down with him at Revenge Pro, which is in Erie, Pennsylvania. We talk about how that is a first on the podcast of conducting an interview and an episode outside of the state of Ohio. And of course, out of the Northeast Ohio independent wrestling scene that we do cover. But it was nice to have a good time to sit down with PB and talk about a bunch of random things going on. Now, I did record this episode and next week's episode, the interviews back-to-back days. And one thing that was going on around, the time is a little bit of the last bit of the fallout between Eminem and MGK, everything with the battle raps back and forth. And yes, they do get covered in both episodes. Now, as I'm recording this part of the show, I'm also going to be recording next week's intros, and I'm hoping nothing big between those two, MGK and Eminem, happen between when this episode gets released and especially next week's episode. I expect them to come out with more songs, but I don't know. It was a topic that I wanted to bring up with both of the guests, and it's something we did have a nice, fun time talking about. So I'm not going to talk too much more. This episode, actually, both interviews, after I did some editing, both came out to be within between 50 and 51 minutes. Like the seconds are within a minute of each other, so I think that's kind of cool. And I didn't time either interview, trying to be like, okay, let's end it here. It just, everything was a natural flow. So yeah, that is what we have coming up. So sit back, relax, and we'll have a commercial before and after the interview. And after that, we'll come back and we'll end the show.
You wake up every morning, get yourself out of bed, and look in the mirror, and realize that you don't recognize the person looking back at you. You don't feel as whole as you should. You feel about half empty. You get in your car and go about your daily activities, and you think about all the opportunities that you missed. Opportunities you didn't take. Doors you left closed instead of open. You think about all the things that you could have done and the things that you chose to do instead. Well, that's where I come in. My name is Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham, and I am not only a motivational speaker, but I am a personal development coach, and my 3-principle system has changed the lives of countless people all over the world. I invite all of you to stay with me today and listen as I help you change your lives and give all of you a new beginning.
All right, we are back here on the podcast, and yep, we have none other than the 7-foot savage himself, Mr. Fresh to Death, PB Smooth. How's it going, PB?
Pretty good. How you doing, brother?
It's going good. Like, right now, this is first time I've ever done one like this. It's always fun to have interviews at different places. We're in the hotel lobby of, this is the
Avalon.
The Avalon in Erie, PA, I think. Wow, this might be even the first one I've recorded outside of Ohio.
Yeah, first one I could think of.
Because mostly everything's in Ohio. Every interview's in Ohio. Yeah, this is the first time in Pennsylvania. Good thing it's not the Ohio Airport. But we have over here after the Revenge Pro show, man. This was pretty cool, man.
Thank you. We've been working really hard to build something in Erie. You know, the other promotion we had just wasn't really catering to the fans too much, and they were very complacent, I guess, and we're trying to build like Revenge with Aaron Draven and McChesney and all this other stuff. So this is where I started before I came to AIW. So it's pretty special to me.
Well, like, what happened with the other promotion? Because I've heard, like, I was hearing fans in the crowd like talk about this other promotion that was here, and I think there's people that we knew that were telling me like, yeah, there was this other organization. Like, where does this fall from that?
All right, so the best way to explain it is one of the original owners at PWR was contemplating not running shows anymore. So he sold his part of the company to somebody else that previously owned it. There were a lot of issues of guys weren't happy there. People's like pay and stuff was getting cut. Yeah. And for me, when Aaron Draven left, he was my original trainer before I had Johnny. So I believe in being loyal to the people I came up with that helped me get where I am today. So once he let me know that he was part owner of Revenge and they were starting this, and I knew where his mindset was and how serious he was, I immediately jumped on it. You know, like, there's a lot more promotion of videos and things here. Like, they're trying to build a base on Twitter. They take it very seriously. So that's the kind of place I want to be. And he also wants to give me good matches and help me develop as a performer. So.
And I feel like this area, like, not knowing that much about it, I mean, there's not too many bigger promotions in the area. I mean, you got Cleveland, which is so far away, Buffalo, which is so far away. Yeah, and even Pittsburgh is the closest, but even still, IWC, that's a drive.
Yeah, that'd be it.
And I mean, this has a lot of the talent from both. Well, like all theirs, like there were people from Buffalo, people from Pittsburgh, people from Cleveland. The Cleveland, obviously, aspect was really cool from like me to see, like, maybe even a guy like Trey Lamar, who, when he came out, like, it didn't seem like many people knew who he was. But you had some of the fellow AIW fans that were here today, you know, they were all for it. And I think that might have helped the crowd out a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. And I appreciate you guys coming out. That really meant a lot to me. A lot of guys, like, when they first, like, their first shows was in Erie, like when we were running at PWR. We got Kevin Blackwood, David Garcia. They came up with Pepper Parks, like, in the beginning stage of their career and stuff. So it's kind of like a stomping ground almost. So it's pretty good to see how we've developed and we're able to pull talent from new areas now. So
that's like the fun thing about this whole area in general. Maybe not just Erie, but in between, I think Erie, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Cleveland, there's a lot of talent, like really good talent. And when you can find a company that does pull from all these different areas, like, for example, like tonight was the first night I ever got to see Puff. Like, and I think I don't remember what it was. I randomly ran across him on something on social media, running two accounts, my own personal account and the Wrestling Cheers account, even on Twitter too. It's like, I will not know where these accounts come from sometimes. Yeah. So like, I stumbled across something. I'm like, obviously he's a big dude. For those who don't know, he's
it's huge.
I don't want to say how much he weighs, but he's definitely a bigger dude. But he's not he has fun with it, and just like he wears like bright colors. So I was like, all right, this
he
is
has
cool.
Like to me, he has like a PME kind of vibe,
dude.
Like I enjoy being around him.
That's the conversation we were having.
Yeah,
we were
he's great.
Put Puff with the PME. I think the idea that I said like, well, have him like be their bouncer. Like,
yeah, that could work.
Like,
and I actually hate Crocs, but he has like these rainbow colored Crocs that are so like sick that I can't not like. I kid you not. I think Crocs are freaking terrible, but he has
Well.
like some that are great looking, and I'm like, all right, I like this guy.
Crocs are bad for fashion, but certain functionality, it's fine.
Yeah, I did hear they were comfy, but
Well, in between comfy, like I think if you're a nurse, they're cool. They originally, I guess, oddly enough, I just watched a video on Crocs.
Really?
Yeah, it was like how they went from being this regular type company going to those type of shoes and like booming, and then they went away for a while, then they boomed again, and like all the different things they do. But they like started out advertising to like people with boats. Like, oh, if you're going to go out on your boat, like this is this is good for if you have that type of life.
Yeah.
So it does make sense. But like if it's for a fashion statement, like no, you're not. You're not going to get the same thing as wearing like Jordans or something. It's just they're not the same. But anyway, it's weird. But anyway, Puff, good dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I would love to see him with PME. Like,
hey, Puff's making his rounds. I think he's going to be at Beyond soon. If he hasn't already. So I mean, there's definitely some promise there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's great to have in the locker room. 100%.
He seems to be that guy, and like to compare him to PME, I think is a good comparison. And just PME is just that team. Like I don't mean to put him over right now, but I love them, and I feel like they're just such great dudes. And I've watched them debut at different markets, and they got over because I don't know. You just look at them, and I think you're around them for like 5 seconds.
You can feel
like,
how genuine they are, and it's awesome when like good people are doing good. Like that makes me happy.
The Phil Collins song like adds to it, to where I think people are just like, wow, I like this song. Oh, these are just they look like they're having fun too.
Yeah, you have to.
Like I saw them premiere in Canton for the DBI last year, and I'm pretty sure most of that market never heard of them, but like halfway through their entrance, you just seen them go. Like the fans go nuts. Yeah. And I love seeing that for guys like that. So if we can could get Puff in Cleveland, John Thorne, if you're listening to this, if someone plays this, like that's
well, it's out there now.
I mean, I have my list of dudes that I always love to see pop up plays, and that Puff was just one of those dudes. I think, especially like Haas division, like does it get any more Haas than Puff?
Puff is nuts, man. Puff's that dude.
I got people trying to make a distraction.
Yeah, the main event are some interesting characters.
No, there's a mean event. They were mean to me.
Because
I'm Team Storm. Yeah.
Oh, you're.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's fine,
Good
guys.
thing we don't have cameras around here.
Wrestling Cheers is Team Storm approved. I don't know about the mean event, but anyway, so how you been? Like everything going on with you and
I'm good. I've just been trying to stay busy, trying to just work every day, get better, stay in shape, just a regular professional wrestler life, I guess.
Getting 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah, it's
I don't know how you do that, dude.
I constantly feed my mind with different stories of people that have excelled to a level I want to excel at.
Okay.
And a lot of them talk about being comfortable with the uncomfortableness of things like that.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you take Kobe Bryant, he's somebody that was working out like 4 times a day, barely getting any sleep. And people would tell him it's bad for you, it's this, it's that. But he's building his mind to be able to withstand anything that's thrown at him. And being able to do something that other people can't do, it builds that confidence in you, that self-belief translates into what Kobe Bryant is, or Floyd Mayweather, or Conor McGregor, you know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm headed with that.
Yeah, like I know like you do all these type of videos and everything, and like I mean I think from the outsider's point of view, you get people who like myself, 7-8 hours of sleep. Maybe you have a really crazy night where it's like maybe 9. Like you're like, oh, I got 4. It's like what?
Oh, it's tough. I was actually supposed to train in Buffalo the other night, and I was laying in bed, and I only slept for like 2 hours because like I was just staring at the wall for some reason. I was just like hyped up. So when I was driving to Buffalo, I had to pull over and take like a 20-minute nap. It's insane.
I mean,
it's tough.
That's like the remedy that I was taught in truck driving school. Like the best remedy if you're tired is to sleep. I mean, even if it is just that quick nap to help you get you down the road a little bit, that's something to help.
Yeah, but I guess the big thing for me is that I've been fortunate enough that people have written me and told me that like what I do inspires them to start like working out and take care of themselves and pushing through things that they normally wouldn't. Like I've had friends tell me, "Oh, I was tired, but I saw you on Snapchat screaming at 4 a.m. and it made me want to get up." So that kind of thing makes me feel good, and it makes me feel like I'm having the positive impact on everyone I want to have. So it kind of holds me accountable. So now I have to do it if I don't want to do it, you know?
Let's talk about a recent thing that's gone on in your life the past, we're almost to a year, but the run as one half of the tag team champions at AIW Twins. I mean, that's been covered to death, but I mean, you don't have to elaborate anymore, but
we could talk about it.
Well, I'm saying like I actually more want to know because I mean people have talked to you all about that because I've listened to like certain podcasts you've done and interviews and like I never want to go into like, oh well, how did you become a wrestler? Like there's certain things I know about you I've heard through other podcasts.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I don't want to insult you, but it's kind of like I think us from the outside, like as fans right now, like should we expect, as far as you know, more from Twins? It's like, or are we going to go more a little bit just singles competition with you? Because I think that your like career in AIW, I mean, you went from being, I mean, very impressive to begin with, and then I feel like this tag team bumped you up, and now like, do we go like, all right, we'll continue with it, or we go, you know what, like, how about that Intense Championship? Tim Don's looking at you, like where do we go from here?
Yeah, I mean, that Intense title would be nice, but if I'm being completely honest, I don't know what direction things are going.
Just not Derek.
No, probably not. But I can say that being able to work with Swoggle did a lot for me mentally. Yeah. Like he definitely helped me a lot with my career. And he was a guy that made it to WWE that they said wouldn't like last a long time. And then he ends up lasting for like a decade. So like he has some base of a knowledge, you know, of how to make things happen. So learning from him is just amazing. Yeah, I just try to soak in whatever I could. So in case it is done, like I can move on and with the knowledge and be able to still perform at that high level.
It was fun from at least what we got to see so far. I think if I were to pick what I would want to see, I would want to see the tag team just take a break. Like, let's not say, oh, we're broke up, we're done, we're going to have a feud now. Let's just go our own different ways. Swoggle does something for a while, you do something for a while, and then maybe 6 months down the line, there is a random tag team match, and you guys are together, but I don't know. I mean, just me as a fan, I kind of do want to see the singles competition thing go farther because I remember, which we've somewhat talked about, like before you debuted, there's like only a couple of people I remember Biggins talking about. One was you. I remember before you debuted, Chandler Biggins talking about like, oh yeah, you know that guy that's been guarding the door? Yeah, he's gonna be wrestling at the next show, and of course, typical Biggins fashion with everything going on with End Zone Cast, and he's 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that. And like I heard him multiple times talk about that, and then like boom, you debuted, and like I know Biggins was hyped for you to debut, man.
Yeah, Biggins was one of the first guys I'd say that I really felt believed in me and kept me going. Yeah, and he made me feel like I had the confidence to perform in the ring at the level I want to. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted.
Yeah, we're like there was like a lot of wrestlers are leaving. That's why we had the main event come in here and say a couple things. Yeah, and I try to distract us. So I just need a sign that says like, "Please be quiet." Just put it up there. Recording podcast recording in session. Like, please be quiet. It is what it is. Microphones will pick up X amount, but I think it'll be mostly this conversation.
All right, good.
With my editing skills on top of it, but
now we can always try again.
No, I don't want to do that. It's not that. It's
not
just
this late at night anyway.
Oh well, yeah, there's that aspect of it, but there's just I don't know a way to describe it for anybody else like doing it. I mean, because you do the YouTube stuff. Yeah. It's like you worked on a project, you filmed all this stuff, and then like you're just about ready to finalize it, like everything you have in order, and then like the program crashes.
Yeah, or
and then it doesn't save anything.
Like, oh, I could have did this better. I totally.
Was that even that aspect? Because I've had a couple moments where I'll never forget. Before I had this nice setup where something really good recording. It's like at Absolution last year with Joshua Bishop. I got home, I accidentally deleted it, and it was just that moment of like, oh, that was a great interview. This is great. Oh, I just accidentally deleted it, so I just wasted all this time. I got to get Bishop. Like, had to work out something with him for he can come over and record another take on the interview. But yeah, I don't want to do that. Yeah. Oh, we got Eddie on here. It's fine. I'm talking. Oh, and Trey Lamar. Okay, Aaron Trey Lamar and Eddie I don't know. Well, I like Eddie. Eddie.
Me too, though, right?
You're okay.
Wow. Okay. No, I'll leave it at that.
Oh,
I mean, wait a minute. What's No Consequences and the production doing together? Because I mean,
Hey, I'm in the production now.
we've talked about this. I'm all about the production. I got the tattoo. He knows it. But anyway.
Oh God.
I don't know if that's all going to pick up, but anyway, God, where were we? Nice little sidetrack there.
Yeah, definitely.
Biggins being hyped for you. I mean, I don't know. That's something that will always stick out. You and Dom are the only two people I remember him talking a lot about. I think Dom was more or less, yeah, he's ranked. I don't think he really knew Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but he'd be like, oh, he's ranked in martial arts.
Yeah.
Man. He's like, you thought like this was like Dan the Beef Severn coming in. It's like, no, not knocked in. Dom is fucking badass, but just Biggins was all about that. And it was the same thing with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I still have the clip of the things he said about me on the Season of the Witch podcast.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I'm having a bad day, like I'll listen to it because it brings me back to center and like, all right, this guy really believed in you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it brings me back to the time where I saw him before I went on like that first WWE tryout.
Yeah.
And that just gets me motivated. It's like, I have too many people riding for me that, you know, to like give up or feel I'm not getting anywhere and things like that. And I'm also in constant communication with his mother. So we've grown pretty close. So
yeah, it's how much like people he would just support. Like I felt like he did the same thing with, like I've talked about many times before, like how he affected what this podcast was, like even with Wrestling Cheers, but was How Many Report, like it just like he was like this motivating force, and just maybe he says the right thing to me, and like that like really changes my mind on something.
Yeah,
and I've always loved him for it. But I mean, you also have that WWE trial, man.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
I said that you had the WWE trial, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to get too much into that, but like, what that whole experience like, and like, is there anybody that you got to talk to during that time? Actually, no. I want you on the microphone. We were just talking. We had a run in by Puff.
Oh yeah, running in, baby. Puff is here with PB Smooth. We're gonna come over the tag team called Puff B Smooth.
Wow.
Already done.
Well, I don't know. Peanut butter and marshmallows kind of do go to that's a sandwich.
I just wish you had a camera so
yeah.
we could see the Crocs right now.
Yo,
like,
I gotta see these Crocs. I got fire ass.
We talked about those.
Can we swear? I said the A
Yeah,
word.
I don't give a damn.
All right, awesome.
oh man.
I just
Don't give a damn.
just a shout out there to John Thorne. Please book Puff for the next Haas Division champion.
Yeah, fucking do that. I wanna come.
Could you imagine? Like,
Wrestle Weird World. It was a fun time.
oh my god. Look at that.
Oh, I already put Puff over for like 10 minutes before he even came over here. Absolutely.
Yeah, bro. Me and Orange Cassidy versus Weird World was fucking sick. So book that.
I don't know, I'm just thinking like Puff versus the Duke for the Haas championship. I mean, it gets no more Haas than Puff.
I'll wrestle anyone.
That is true.
All right, I gotta go. I need sheets. I need sheets.
Okay. Oh,
You
Team
guys have
Sheets.
sheets all the time,
Team
right?
Sheets.
Team Sheets.
Yeah, sheets all the time.
What about? Well, you're in this area now, right now. How about
No,
Gecko?
bro.
I'm all about. I love Gecko, but I mean,
I'm in Buffalo and I got nothing.
man,
No, you got Mighty Taco.
My tacos good.
Mighty Taco's great.
you got Tim Hortons.
I hate
Yeah.
Tim Hortons.
Go.
I don't want to
Go.
I'm out.
I'm not a fan anymore.
Oh,
No.
God.
That's why you're not a fan of me. I'll take that.
No, I love you. I love you, Puff. I love you.
Oh, man.
Stay Puff. All right.
We should be good for a little bit now.
Yeah, I think that was like the last of everybody going through.
Yeah.
Yeah, the WWE tryout, like.
Yeah, it was a great experience. I'd say I was prepared for some of the drills just because in training Johnny would run through some of the NXT drills. I feel match-wise I wasn't ready, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I was only 50 matches in.
Yeah.
So like, and I mean, I'm still learning, you know,
Yeah.
you're never going to be perfect,
Yeah.
I'd say, but I'm at a point now where I feel more confident in the ring. So when that opportunity arises again, I think I can show improvement and show, you know, I'm someone worth investing in.
Yeah.
So overall, it was a great experience, especially to get it so early. Like I was only a year and a half in, you know, so.
I feel like even worst case scenario, that's at least them checking in on you early.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got the benchmark set, and I mean, obviously don't know what they told you. I don't probably gave you tips, which I mean, I always feel like if I was in that industry of, you know, you have the the be all end all for a lot of people, or just the top of it, giving you tips. Like that's worth it. Even if you wouldn't get signed immediately, it's like, well, I know where to go. I know what to do.
Yeah, that's what I like. Having someone, like, I'm very big on constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Like every time like Colin Delaney's around, like I know he'll like chew me out about my matches, not in like a negative way, but he'll tell me straight like, oh, this was terrible. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Like I appreciate that because then I can learn how to not make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of how I was with like basketball playing in college. So I'm cool with it. And I think you can only grow. You know, so that's kind of where I'm at with it.
I feel like I'm the same way with podcasting. I've been doing this for so long, but if someone actually, like, I love when people say like, oh, I love your podcast. That's great. I'm like, all right, cool. But when someone says, hey, this is something I don't like, as long as it's not like, I don't like you, you're annoying, I hate you, then like,
if it comes from someone respectful, you know that.
Like, I'll throw it out there. The Duke one time told me, he was just like, yeah, like sometimes I think the podcast goes a little long. And I'm like, thank you. That's something I will work on. And is it going to be perfect? No, but it's going to be good.
When I met PB Smooth, I knew he'd be fucking smooth. Pardon my language.
Wow. That was Big League John McChesney.
There's a lot of run-ins on this episode. But I love that kind of stuff.
It's going to be the PB Smooth episode featuring every indie wrestler that was on the card.
Pretty much. So, Team Storm walked by. Not a word. That's the most I've heard them, like, be quiet. No, you'd figure they would, like...
Yeah, they're respectful ones.
How is that? Anyway, I love Team Storm.
They're interesting guys, man, for sure.
But I do want to get into music. That's something, especially going on right now. I want to get your take, even though I have a weird feeling you don't have a take.
All right.
MGK, Eminem, where do you stand?
I like what it's doing for hip hop right now.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because they're all like having issues, they're elevating their music.
Yeah.
Like I've never heard G-Eazy put out a song where he's like taking shots at somebody and it's like bar for bar as opposed to like club music, which is okay.
Yeah.
But you're getting to see a different side of him. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen MGK go at somebody like that. And Eminem is always at his best when he's like Slim Shady. Like people, like he got known for being that bitter, dark side kind of guy. So overall, I'll probably pick Eminem, you know, 'cause that's the generation I grew up in. And
same
like,
thing.
You know what I'm saying? So
it's weird to get people say, because I feel like there's some like it's a generation part.
Oh yeah. It's the problem I have with music today. So when I was growing up, a lot of dudes would rap about like selling like drugs or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was too, and I'm not condoning selling drugs by no means. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
But like they were rapping about like getting into a different lifestyle. Like that was their way of chasing the American dream.
Yeah.
Now you have rappers that are rapping about like doing the drugs. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a weird thing for me. And I think that's why like you have mumble rappers or people that are very like just out there and don't know what they're doing. And it confuses me.
Yeah.
You know, like some of the beats are great. Like absolutely, you know, and like maybe if I'm in the gym, I can listen to some of it. But for me, I take the music I listen to very seriously because it's a subconscious thing. Yeah. And like, I'm very careful the thoughts I put in my mind. So like some of it I just can't listen to.
I feel that. I don't know. I have my own like background when it comes to the rap, but
yeah,
I think this would tie into all that. But who's your GOAT? It's always cool to hear like what is the GOAT for people, and then like their reason why.
It shifts for me, but I'd say right now my favorite artists are Ace Hood and Russ. And the reason being is because they go against the grain. You know, like they don't rap about like doing like a whole bunch of drugs or like partying and doing all this crazy stuff. And like, I don't mean to like sound cliche or whatever, but they talk about being self-sufficient and like perseverance and getting through like tough times, you know? Yeah. And like just where I'm at in my life and the growth I'm trying to have, like I need those positive messages. Yeah. So like, that's the kind of stuff I listen to like get my day going. Yeah. You know, so I mean, I still listen to like fun stuff every now and then. Yeah. And I can't lie, like I love Britney Spears. Oh, 100%.
I mean, everybody has their own thing. Like for me, when it comes to pop, I'm trying to figure out like what's my go-to, because I could listen to NSYNC, I could listen to Backstreet Boys. Oh yeah. I think I after a certain point, I stopped being like, oh, I don't like that band because of that's girl music. I was like, oh, like I can like NSYNC. I can like Backstreet
absolutely.
Boys.
That's only an insecure thing people say. Like people
Well,
look
it's
at
more
me,
of a middle school. Like I understand, like in middle school, elementary school, but like at least after high school, it's like okay, like I could go through my phone right now and pick up just a bunch of different songs, and I'm just like, maybe this wasn't supposed to be. Like my first concert was the Spice Girls.
Yeah, well,
I love the Spice Girls. I still listen to them. I'll jam out.
It's so funny because like people look at me and they assume I listen to certain stuff all the time, and I don't. I'd say the funniest thing on a road trip one time, and this is like a joke or whatever, but I forgot where we were going, and Dom was in the car, and he was like, I can't wait for like all this like gangster rap we're about to listen to. And then I just put on like some R&B, and he was so pissed. It was the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's like there was a comedian, I think it was a female, I don't remember her name, and talking about how she had a car with a system, and like she was at a stoplight, and there, you know, she had like bass going, so like a snooty couple or something like looked over her, it just kind of like rolled their eyes, and she rolled down her window, and it was classical music because that still has bass, and if like you're just hearing the actual sound of bass, you probably have some assumptions, but when she rolled down the window, it's like no, it's. Oh, it's this.
I've done that to mess with people. Yeah. Like I grew up in Hempstead, New York, and when I grew up there, it was like a fairly tough neighborhood, I guess.
Yeah.
And when I was in high school and I was in the car with my friends, like I didn't care. Like I would go through random streets and blast Barbie Girl just to do it because I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
So like if I'm doing that, then I really don't care. Like I put all my stuff out there. I believe in being authentic and vulnerable, and that's kind of how I treat like my social media, you could say.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll hear all types of music, like whatever I'm listening to, could be anything.
Oh yeah. I think going back to the GOAT conversation, I mean, for me, and I think I had this conversation with AJ Gray because he has such hot music takes where he says something and you just kind of go, what?
I've accepted AJ for who he is.
Yeah, but we were talking, I'm like, who do you think the GOAT is? And I forget who he told me. And I was like, for me, it's Eminem. And he's like, oh, it's because you're white. And I'm like, no. Like, the funny thing is, like, he's not my favorite. I think he's the greatest of all time for a lot of credential reasons.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think how good he is. But if you ask me who my favorite is, it's actually his best friend, Proof. I was actually a real big fan of his when he was alive. Oh, okay. And I have a vinyl of his on my wall that was only released in two forms, vinyl and free audio.
Oh,
so
sweet.
that was the only physical copy kind of that was released. And like, to me, I thought he was way better than Eminem. But when you talk about credentials, it's like all the success, everything's like Eminem's like, to me, that's the best. Unless there's very little, I think, anybody who you could tell me like that's the GOAT, and I'll go, okay, I see it. There's other people. I mean, it's an opinion thing.
Yeah, for sure. Like for me, like I said, right now, Ace Hood and Russ is what I listen to on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. But I'd say I've had more favorite songs as opposed to like this artist is like the greatest of all time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like I think everything is subjective. Mm-hmm. So it's like, how definitely. Can I tell? Like, because I get confused when I go online and everyone's like getting mad at someone for saying they like MGK. I'm like, all right, well, he likes him. Just because you don't like him, you gotta curse him out over it. You know, it's not that serious.
I think my big thing with the whole like debate between the songs, I was like, because I think Eminem just killed it.
Yeah.
And if someone said like, well, I think MGK did better, I just said, tell me how.
Yeah, there's like, actually a YouTube video dissecting every lyric that Eminem had in the song.
It might have been,
and it was amazing.
Do you know the YouTube account? Because there's one account I found, and he did like a couple good reviews of the songs, in the beef and everything. I think his name was Crypt. Like I stumbled across his. He did like everything good about the M song, everything bad about the MGK song, everything good about the MGK song. He said the only reason why he didn't do a bad about Eminem because he's like there wasn't a lot. He's like it'd have been a 2-minute video.
Yeah, well, I mean. And I think a lot of people don't understand his approach, like, because people give him crap for just doing the interview for like Shave 4-5 or whatever. But like, that's his thing. Like, he doesn't like being out in the world, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And then he didn't want to respond right away because, like, let's be honest, if you respond, people like drama. So that's going to make MGK more relevant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why he didn't respond right away. But then he was like, all right, well, here you go. You know what I'm saying? But people don't get that.
It's like, oddly enough, Proof in that actually album that I have, there's a song that he did about Detroit rapper named Esham.
Okay.
Who he broke down his name and It's ESHAM. Every sucker has a moment.
Yeah.
And at the end of the song, he's just like, Isham, I'm done dissing you. Quit dissing me, man. And, I'm just not going to respond anymore. And anybody else who wants to say something, guess what? I'm not going to respond because you just think that I'm just going to come into a studio all the time and just respond back to everybody.
Yeah, it's training.
And when M was saying a lot of that stuff, like, I was kind of like, when M was saying that stuff, I was just like, yeah, I kind of like that. That's what the proof stuff.
Oh my God.
I don't know how much the microphones will pick up, so.
I hope not.
But anyway. But with M, it's like, do you want to respond?
Yeah.
And even like some of the stuff he's like that MGK said, I'm like, I don't know, does that warrant like
at the end of the day,
response?
Nobody's going to fight each other. We know this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why even go that far?
I think that's one of my biggest issues with MGK's song. There was this part of it, he's just like, I do drugs, you don't. And it was like, oh, body you in chalk. And I'm like, you guys aren't going to fight. Like,
you're not going to see Eminem, first of all.
Yeah.
You're probably not going to see him. Like, again, what I said, like, rappers talking about doing drugs. Like, what, like, example are you setting?
And, like, even going back to the most historic beef of all, like, Tupac and Biggie, I don't think there was rarely any confrontations between them. It was like they're friends. Someone will probably look that up and tell me I'm wrong. But, like, you really look at it, it's like, yeah, they both died, as far as we know, not by each other. Like, it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't think it was like a hit type.
Yeah. No matter what Eminem says. But no, there's the whole fact of it is just like they had their own problems. And I always like what Biggie said after Pac's death. And it's something that I try to live by of, we're going through.
Wishing death on anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're just like, hey, I thought he was going to pull through it and it's going to be over. He's going to make a couple songs about it and that's going to be it. But when he died, I was like, whoa.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the logistics of it, but I'd say, just from my opinion, I think it all came from miscommunication.
Yeah. That's what it sounds
charging each other up. So, yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if like Suge kind of got to Pac. Because like, let's look at the history we know of Suge Knight.
Yeah.
Like, I think I just seen something like he's definitely going to be locked away for good now. But it's like, definitely not the greatest influence. And he was a big person behind that whole feud.
Yeah, when someone puts the battery in your back that you respect, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I think Pac is he's definitely one of those dudes. Let's say both of them, like Pac and Biggie, if they both had a longer life, like those two would have had like crazy careers. I think that's one always, when people say like those two are the GOATs, I'm like, I don't think they have the credentials, but they accomplished a lot in their little time. And if they would have been like, we're now on almost 20 years of Eminem. Yeah. We had 20 years of Pac, 20 years of Biggie.
I just think still, though, even with as little as we got from them, how lyrically, like, legible they were compared to what we have now.
Pac was so poetic.
Absolutely.
And he definitely seemed to be one of those dudes that just
draws emotion, tells a story.
Well, in between that and just being like, you know what? I'm gonna record a song today. Like, there's all these songs of his that was never used. And granted, a lot of ones that were released were just like given new beats or anything, but still, like, he just went to work.
Yeah.
And he just put this truckload of just songs. Yeah. So when he dies, it's like, oh, we still have all this stuff that was never released. There's only a couple artists I know like that. Him and Johnny Cash are the two that I can think of.
Yeah, he got one song I listened to in the gym, You Can't See Me.
Mm-hmm.
He went off on that. Whenever I'm trying to up my weight, I put that on and I get going.
Pac has a lot. I always loved the Machiavelli album. Just that whole, like, I'm going to take this different persona and, like, make it into something. Because I think that would have been a huge thing for him going forward. Like, he would have made, like, no, Tupac and Machiavelli are two different people.
He just wasn't afraid to be who he was.
No.
And another guy, I think, I was like, there's like LL Cool J.
Yeah.
And people like don't realize that. Because like when he came out with that I Need Love song, they tried to act like he was soft. I'm like, everyone like cares about somebody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, that doesn't mean he won't knock you out.
Anytime I think of LL, I just think of him and cannabis.
Yeah.
Because obviously you said knockout, that reminds me of second round knockout, but that's just me.
Yeah.
That's a different beef in hip hop. Even LL, like I've never been a huge fan. I think that was a little bit before my time, but
he got a few joints that I really like.
Yeah.
The I'm Bad, he went off on that.
And I feel like he's like the first rapper that people are just like, that's the greatest of all time. And people started going, okay, like I got to get better than that. And I think some did, some didn't. Some it's just maybe just how you look.
Yeah.
But LL just, even I heard a friend of mine make the comparison. Like right now, what we're seeing with Eminem is like a reflection of LL in think 99, even without a movie tie-in on his album. Because we have the Venom track for the upcoming movie, and you go back to, I think, 99 or 98 maybe, LL with Deepest Bluest.
Yeah.
Which, I actually like that song. I was thinking about it recently. I'm just like, man, that was a great video.
Yeah, it was.
All right, we've been talking for about a good half hour now. So we're going to wrap this up with our Fave 5 questions. And I'm looking forward to the Rubber City WrestleCon, because I want to try to get Booker T's permission to use his Fave 5, which I always said for him, he always said he had Fave 5, but it's always like more than 5. So there's 6 questions. So picking from our random assortment.
Okay.
Let's start with one that would be good for you. Wings, bone in or out?
Bone out.
Bone out, really?
Yeah, I mean, I get yelled at because I keep getting told they're not wings, they're just nuggets. But...
I mean, people are definitely like that. I mean, I'm like that, but to me, it's like if I'm ordering, I'm getting actual bone in. I've always like preferred that, but everybody has their own preference, so that's why it's cool to see where people go.
Yeah, I'm bone out.
A follow up to that, I don't think I've ever asked, but it just came to me. Like, for you, what's your ideal sauce for wings?
Sweet chili.
Okay.
Yeah, it used to be honey barbecue, but I had some sweet chili wings one time and just changed my life.
I've heard of some place with some sweet chili wings. I think I might have had some. For me, I'm a barbecue. I love barbecue.
Yeah, barbecue's great.
And I think the great thing cool with barbecue in itself, there's different sauces of barbecue.
So many different.
that for me, like Quaker steak, that's my favorite. Their barbecue's the best. But I think like B-Dubs has their own style. And then you have different kind of places with their own style barbecue. So every time I go
next time you're out here, you need to go to Federal Hill Smokehouse.
Okay.
They're like a local barbecue place.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that owns it was actually here. Like he has a tattoo shop right next door, and they have great food there, and they have like pretty good barbecue sauce.
Take your word on it.
Yeah, check it out.
Then I do think any barbecue sauce is worth a try. I'm like, oh, you got a barbecue sauce for wings? Well, let me try it.
Yeah, why not?
Let's go with trying to find good ones that are for you.
Whatever you want, man. Make it up if you want.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Pancakes.
I love pancakes. I usually, after shows at AIW, I go to Denny's.
That's a common. They have a long time. Yeah.
They got like those peanut butter spread pancakes,
mm-hmm.
and now they got some with like ice cream on them.
Oh,
it's insane. I actually went one time with Lucy and Casper. It was hilarious.
Okay,
it's great. Love pancakes.
Best portrayal of the Joker.
Like what actor did it best?
Yeah,
Heath Ledger.
The Joker. I'm the same.
It's just like he was so in tune with the character,
mm-hmm.
and it's scary because I feel like that had something to do with like his,
I think he's one of the few actors in that role, or just any role, that I go, that's not Heath Ledger playing the Joker. That's the Joker. Yeah,
like he really dug deep into that.
I think the only scene that I'm just like, okay, I can see Heath Ledger is the interrogation room scene where his makeup's kind of coming off and some of the lighting. Like that's when you actually see Heath Ledger. But the rest, I just see the Joker.
Yeah, it's scary because like I know I have some friends that are in acting and stuff like that, and I've watched Michael B. Jordan's interview when he played Killmonger in Black Panther,
mm-hmm.
and it's like you have to, like they really put themselves in the shoes of that person, like mm-hmm. a sociopath almost. So like that's kind of a scary place to be sometimes when you're like portraying like a character and you want to make everyone like really feel that emotion of what the story you're trying to tell.
Mm-hmm.
So like I have like a lot of respect for like anyone in that like industry,
Yeah. Let's go with the first time I've officially asked this. This is the AJ Gray question of the show. and I got his permission.
Oh,
and if you know AJ Gray, you got to figure this is.
I talk to this guy every day. I've accepted him. I love him like a brother, but he's nuts.
This like obviously was named after him. What are your hot takes? Which for me, I mean, everybody has their own definition of hot takes. For me, it's like an unpopular opinion. Like when you say it, people are just like, "Oh my god, like what?" Like,
oh, okay,
yeah. Because let's face it, half the stuff AJ Gray says is just hot takes.
He be doing stuff for attention. I swear, he's nuts.
Oh, he is.
The easiest one is like, I guess I like pineapple with pizza. Maybe
that's a fun one.
The fact that like Russ is very unpopular. Like I've had wrestling fans come at me for that.
You like what?
For liking Russ's music.
Okay.
Yeah, like he hates Russ. Like anytime I post anything about Russ, he immediately trolls me. It's insane.
That's what he does.
Yeah.
I'd love him. Like I think he's that example, I think, of anybody who's like in wrestling of that's how you make yourself known.
Well, he's relatable for me because like I grew up around people like him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like I'm not like that, but I can understand where he's coming from. And like the thing that I will say about a guy like AJ, he will always tell you how he feels. Yeah. So you're never left in the dark. And that to me is more respectable than someone that just like smiles in your face when, you know, they're like lying to you, you know?
Yeah.
So big ups to you, AJ.
Yeah. I love that aspect of him. He's always entertainment too. But like from, I think a wrestler's point of view, if I were a wrestler, just a guy who was I don't want to say nobody, but like in Cleveland, no one really knew who he was.
Yeah.
It turns out he was just like a bartender, but like, oh, it's because he was trying to
get on the show.
Yeah. And then he got on the show and boom, like, you know, almost every single show has AJ Gray on it just because he put in the work to come all the way.
Yeah, he's a great example. He's a great example of somebody that paid his dues and, you know, from the ground up. So
I've driven from Memphis to Cleveland. And I know that that's a drive.
Yeah, and he does that with no problem.
Yeah.
He just goes after it, you know, so by himself usually too.
Yeah. I mean, I know about driving that alone, but at least I had like a company truck. But him doing it on its own, especially too, like his having car troubles in Columbus.
Oh yeah, that Cadillac.
Oh god.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Mad respect to AJ Gray. All right, fifth question, also named after. We have the Wilkman question, who's a friend of ours from Kick Out at 2 podcast. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
I guess, again, that's something subjective, I guess. But for me, no.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't really, when I think Christmas movie, I think Home Alone.
Yeah.
But the only movie I'd say I watch like on a regular basis, like for a holiday, is Nightmare Before Christmas. That's my movie.
For Christmas?
For Halloween. I watch it for Halloween.
Okay, yeah.
Like Halloween's like my holiday. And my birthday's in October.
Okay.
I love haunted houses, horror movies. So that's just my thing. So.
Okay. My girlfriend is a very big fan of Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, I might get a tattoo of Zero. I'm just figuring out where I want to put it.
Oh, that's her favorite character.
It's coming.
Follow up that I do have to that, like maybe you did say it too, but favorite Christmas movie?
I don't know if I have like a Christmas movie, but I do like the Alvin and the Chipmunks Christmas song, if that counts for something.
Okay, I mean,
I can't think.
I have to accept it, but I mean, we can go to this conversation of like Christmas songs. There's so many like really good. That's one of my favorites.
The only song that creeps me out is what's it called? It's like a girl singing about like a hippopotamus, whatever that is.
Yeah,
that song like weirds me out. Yes, I don't understand like why you'd want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
That was a song that I didn't discover until like somewhere within the last decade, because people were talking about, I'm like, what's this? And then someone told me, oh no, it's this Christmas song. I'm like, I had a special like Billboard Christmas album that had every Christmas hit from like I want to say the 50s, like that's the every, but like some of the biggest ones from the 50s to at the present time, which was I think the 80s when it was first released. I'm like, I'd never heard of that song. Like I've heard like I'm Getting Nothing for Christmas, which sounds similar. And I'm like, to me, that makes sense. That's a good song. But I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I looked up the lyrics and I was very confused.
But the Alvin and the Chipmunks is
that sticks out to me because whenever I think Christmas, I just remember always getting a new video game. Okay. So I was playing video games, not watching movies like during Christmas. So I can't think of any like specific Christmas movie. The only one maybe that Arnold Schwarzenegger movie with the toy. Yeah, I remember watching that when I was younger.
That's one of my like, not my exact favorite, because I think for me it's like more the Home Alone movies. I love Home Alone 1 and 2.
Yeah.
But if I would do a top 5, I always throw that in, because to me I was like the end of elementary school, I think, when that came out. Mm-hmm. And I think it's so quotable. Like some of just the funny small lines in there. love. Or like I think every time I see the cops, I'm like, it's the Grinch, scatter, or something like that. Or
yeah, that was a good movie.
Big Show, like Little Buddy. Just that's such a great movie.
Yeah.
All right, on to the sixth and final question that I always cater to somebody. And oddly for you, I didn't think of anything until you were talking. And I'll throw this out there. What's your favorite haunted house you've ever been to?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
And the great thing is, like, you could tell me a place and I probably never heard of it just because every area has their own haunted houses, every state and everything.
Well, I will tell you this. So there's a place in Pittsburgh called the Scare House.
Okay.
And it's very famous. They even have like a basement area where like they touch you, like they'll throw a bag over your head. Like it's legit. It'll scare the hell out of you. Yeah, I saw your face change.
Well,
it gets real down there.
Well, here's the thing with me when it comes to haunted houses. Whether they could touch me or not, I've never been a person that gets scared because like I know it's on the list to say this at a wrestling show, but like I know it's a work. Like I know you're not Frankenstein. You're not a ghost. You're not dead.
But if someone puts a bag on your head and rubs something on your neck that doesn't feel like a hand, I don't know. You might want to check it out.
That's what I was thinking.
It's next level.
Literally every haunted house I've go to, I'm just like, I walk around a corner and like I'm scanning the room for every place that someone can come out of, and they're like,
"Oh yeah, I always walk out last too." But here's the point I was making. So my birthday is October 15th. On October 14th, I'm going to go there with some wrestlers. Mm-hmm. I believe Team Storm's coming with me. Nice. And I set up something with the management there that they're going to like record us go through it because they did that with the Pittsburgh Steelers before.
Okay.
So hopefully like that's something I can get up on the YouTube channel or something like that. So you get to see the experience of it. I think it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Something a little different.
Because like I said, with haunted houses, like I'll go to them, but
yeah.
It's just if I ever had one with a different experience. I know the biggest one in Ohio that I've always heard of is in Columbus. I think it's called the Haunted Hoochie. And that's the one that people are like, oh my God, this is the best. But I'm like, I don't know. I heard people always say the Carnival of Horrors and well, it was supposed to be a really good one. I went there and I'm like, it's okay.
Well, the one in Conneaut Lake isn't bad. Mm-hmm. It's like 13 something. I forgot what it's called. Mm-hmm. It's like 2.5 hours, honestly. Like, it's a nice little...
Is it 13 floors of hell?
Yeah. And at the end, there's like a roller coaster, but it's in the pitch black. It's like, and it looks really old and rickety. So like you're on a roller coaster, but you literally can't see anything. It's pitch black. So it's like, that might freak you out a little bit because you're like, all right, if I stick my head out of my, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'm trying to figure out
13 levels of fear. I think that's what
13 levels of fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, 7 floors of hell. Okay, yeah. Wow, 13 floors. That would be.
Well, there is one. I don't know the name of it where you like at the end you have to like jump off something.
Yeah, I think that's 7 floors of hell because I've always heard like, oh, there's this one where you could like go out a window, and I'm like, yeah,
oh, that's nuts. There's that, and then I did hear there's one where you get like paintball guns and you have to like shoot people dressed as zombies while you're on like a hayride.
Oh, I think I've heard.
I need to find that. If you find that, please let me know.
That sounds like fun.
That would be sick.
Yeah, because this episode's coming out the weekend after this, so we're going about right into October.
Yeah,
for
I can't
people.
wait.
So yeah, that's the big fun of Halloween.
Oh, I love it. I mean, it's on my bucket list to be an actor in like a haunted house at one point. Mm-hmm. It's just I don't do as many haunted houses now because I'm getting bookings and I prefer the bookings. Yeah. But if I can get one good one, yeah, if I can get one good one in October, I'll be happy.
Oh, too bad the Akron show is in the end of November. I mean, beginning of November, end of October. So there's a couple. I mean, there's one that I always like telling the story. It's called the Haunted Schoolhouse and Laboratory. It's 2 old schoolhouses, and my dad actually went to those schools as a kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like cool to like know like this is where my dad went to school. And I think the joke that he always told me when I was little, because it's been around for like 70s. I think this haunted house has been around, if not longer. Yeah. And he went to school in like 50s, 60s. And he'd say, yeah, when here as a kid, it looks a little different, but the staff's the same. I always love that joke.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Such a dad joke, but I mean, I don't know. It's who's going to have that story of like, yeah, I went to this haunted house run. Yeah, I went there here as a kid as actual schoolhouse.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
All right, it's been fun. Any final thoughts or last minute plugs before we go?
Not really. I think I like that we covered things that I've never talked about before, really, like with the music and stuff. So I mean, if you have any other questions,
well, no, it's just like, I don't know. Like I always say, fine. I got that from I think a different podcast that I was on for years back. Where just before we go, like any final thoughts or last minute plugs, anything like you want to wrap up. But then like obviously your plugs would be your regular plugs you would get into.
Well, yeah. Obviously appreciate the support on social media. Definitely posting schedules, and I'm trying to venture out and get into new territory. I'm headed back to West Virginia. Going back to New Jersey soon, a few other places, and I'm gonna keep doing the Monday Vibes I've been doing on YouTube. So yeah, that's really about it. Yeah, just progress.
Yeah,
so I'm trying to get there.
All right, thanks, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
I'm glad to see that no one has left. But now you're asking yourself, Dr. Dan, are you going to tell us what the DCR system is? And I will tell you now. The 3 simple principles that change everyone's lives: dedication, confidence, and respect. D, C, and R. If one is dedicated to themselves, confident in oneself, and respectful of oneself, there is nothing that they cannot accomplish. Those 3 principles are the building blocks of anything you wish to achieve. If you just remember D, C, and R, there is nothing that you cannot accomplish. But sometimes you feel that isn't enough. Sometimes you need to be a little more focused on the task at hand. But don't worry. To go along with dedication, confidence, and respect, you can always remember rule number 1.
Yeah, it was quite a cast of characters coming in and out of that interview. Just people saying stuff. And it's funny, I think we did talk about, Team Storm walked by, never interrupted us. So that was kind of awkward. Kind of funny, though. Anyway, let's wrap up this show. Thank you very much for listening. Please rate, review, and subscribe. Got to repeat that one more time. On Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. You can find this show at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. And of course, you want to find myself. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram the same way at Heavyset330. Facebook.com/Heavyset330, Twitter.com/Heavyset330, and Instagram.com/Heavyset330. Email, if you so choose to desire. No, I do not have a Heavyset330 email address whatsoever, which is kind of weird, but I do have WrestlingCheers@gmail.com, like I previously mentioned. And of course, check out all of our friends on the Trending Topics Network, such as All Beer Inside, Eurovision Showcase, Old School at the Movies. And that's about it. And check out all of our other podcasting friends, such as Pod Van Dam, Adults, Benefit of Podcasting, Center Stage, Super Fantastic Podcast, The Road Home from Wrestling, Kick Out at 2, The Indie Cast, and the Big Gold Belt Podcast. And check out our other friends, such as Thrift Store Jobber, Rebel Life Media, Savage Stash, Set Tab Photo, Ringside Shots Photography, Sickening Pictures, NEO Sports Insiders, and the official graphic designer of Wrestling Cheers, Boy Designs. That will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, even if you choose to interrupt us in the middle of the interview. And especially if your name is Puff. Later.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Would you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and for all these life you can. You're